Hey, all, Kate here from the Emerald Minecart. Welcome back to another review. And today I'm reviewing episode 18 of Kamen Zeztz. In this episode, we actually get to learn a bit of Nasuka's backstory. Yeah, I was kind of having an issue saying her name, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'll get to that when I get to it. But yeah, anyways, the pros, the cons, and the mates. First off, the pros. First things first is the fight scenes. Once again, fight scenes are pretty good, especially between Kamen Zeztz and Kamen Nox, especially since Kamen Nox gets a new capsum that essentially gives him a gun arm, which again, I'll talk about when I get to that. But yeah, fight scenes, pretty good. In fact, apparently, the bullets from Kamen Nox's gun form are strong enough to break the barrier shield for Kamen Zetz's barrier form. Which, speaking of that, yeah, Kamen Zetz actually loses his barrier capsum to Nox. So, once again, Nox steals one of his capsums, but don't worry, he'll get it back eventually. I think. Next up is the special effects. Once again, special effects are also pretty good. I really did like the special effect of, like, Kamen Nox's arm turning into his, like, new gun mode. And I also really like the special effects used for the attacks of the new Nightmare, the Death Game Nightmare, where he throws, like, these giant dice, and they just look cool, and I really like it. Next up is the music. Something to note about this episode is that besides taking place in the dream takes place in a high school. And there is a scene where, like, the students are all playing basketball, and the music playing during the scene sounds like music you would hear from one of those 3D racing games you would see at an arcade. And when I say, like, racing game, I don't mean, like, oh, it's like a arcade port of Mario Kart or something, like one of those original racing games where it's like, oh, you have the option to save. Or I don't know what I'm rambling on about, but yeah, it gave me arcade vibes. I really liked it. Yeah. So music on this in this episode, pretty good. Next up, we're getting one of the two nightmares. Which, yes, that's right, two nightmares appear. Although technically the other one really appears as a cameo, but I'll get to it after I talk about the Death Game Nightmare. So the Death Game Nightmare, honestly, looks pretty freaking cool. Especially, like, when I saw him in the thumbnail, I thought he looked like an evil Boom Boomger because, like, he kind of has, like, the same wheel thing on, like, his visor. So, yeah. He looks really cool. He's pretty dope. And actually, okay, here's the thing. Kamen Rider is considered to be a kids show in Japan. You're probably wondering why am I bringing this up? Well, that's because Death Game Nightmare kills people on screen. Yeah, here in America, most kids shows aren't really allowed to show people dying on screen. And when I say dying on screen, I'm not saying like, oh, they're showing people get ripped apart and gutted. It's nothing like that. It's just like being hit with these magical thorns and being electrocuted. Like, it's nothing too gruesome, but still, like, they're still showing people dying on screen. Which, again, keep in mind, Kamen Rider is considered a kids show in Japan. And again, like I mentioned, most kids shows in America really aren't allowed to show people dying on screen. Most of the time. But yeah, it's just, besides that, yeah, Death Game Nightmare honestly looks pretty freaking cool. I like his design. I like how he looks like an evil Boom Boomger. So, yeah. Next up is the Baby Nightmare. Now, originally I was going to put this in mids because it's like, it really only makes a cameo. But because of the design, which is this, yeah, to say I said, what the fuck when I saw this thing, would be an understatement, because what is this? Like, this is so much no. Like, if 5-year-old me saw this, 5-year-old me would be freaking terrified. Like, what is this? Why is this? Who is this? How is this? When is this? Like, it generally does look, it honestly is kind of a bit unsettling to me, and I really hope it only stays as a cameo. If not, I don't know. I mean, I probably wouldn't scream because, like, it's not too bad. I do, like, it does look a little cool, but still, it is definitely a really, really freaking weird design. I will say so myself. Anyways, next up is the gun capsule, which is for Kamen Nox. So yeah, the gun capsule essentially gives Kamen Nox this shotgun-looking Gatling gun arm that its bullets can break the barriers of Kamen Zetz's barrier form. And honestly, it looks pretty freaking cool. Whenever we see big long guns, or when I see big long guns, it's like, ooh, destruction! But yeah, it looks really cool. The capsule of it is red. It looks awesome. I like it. The gun form looks freaking amazing. And then finally, we learn more lore about Nasuka, who is one of Kamen allies. We actually discover is one of his comrades, and I'll get to that. But yeah, we learned three things. One, the first thing is that she was a really good student in high school, and she had a friend that the two played basketball together. And originally, they were going to go to sorry. Originally, they were going to go to the same college, but eventually they started to distance themselves because Nasuka's friend ended up going to a different college and would eventually become a journalist. Second thing we learned is that Nasuka and Baku, aka Zeztz, actually used to go to the same cram school together. And then finally, the piece of information I was most excited about because what it means, Nasuka is an agent for Code, which means she will probably eventually get a writer form, which makes me so happy because, like, I made a Siri video a while ago saying, like, oh, one of the people, or one of the allies for Kamen Zeztz who could become a writer is Nasuka. And yeah, it's hopefully going to happen. I hope she gets a writer form. It'd be awesome. Be nice. But, yeah. So yeah, it was cool to learn all that information. And I bet when Tetsuya learns that, like, his partner or friend that he's known for, like, a good while is, like, actually a part of the Code Agency and was, like, knew Baku back then in cram school, I bet he's going to be like, what? But, yeah. Anyways, those were my pros. Now for the cons and mids. I don't have any cons and mids. This was, once again, a pretty freaking good episode. So, yeah. Yeah, I give this episode 7 I give this episode 7 out of 7 stars. And you know what that means. That's right. This episode gets an Emerald Seal of Approval. So, yeah. That was it for this review. We'll be reviewing episode 19 on next Monday. So, yeah. If you want to see my reactions to these episodes, you can go check out my Patreon if you want to, which, keep in mind, is completely optional. So, yeah. But, yeah. So, that was the first review. Make sure you all subscribe and like for more, and I'll see you all later. Peace out, home guards, and goodbye!